I really, through making The Alchemist, arrived at the understanding of that, of how to be intentional with my joy, like following joy in an industry that is the Wild West forever, and just knowing like I love music, I love songs, I love people, I love seeing people break a smile when they came in after like a really hard, maybe subway ride or long day of work. That's what I know I'm here for. And if I had to make one last record, like what would my manifesto be? It would just be to offer a little bit of light and a little camaraderie to people.
Then I'll stop believing that life is a merry-go-round, holding me there until I start to see that the spine was only building me up. Look at me now, making peace, making up for all that lost time, learning how to see myself in my mother's side. Before I ever doubted.
Bre Kennedy, thank you so much for making some time. You're like the busiest person in Nashville right now, I think, at this very moment. So the fact that you would spend a few minutes over here talking is...
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Hey.
It's great to be here. Thank you for having me. Walking into your studio is like truly an exhale. This is exhale space.
That's what we're here for. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you about a lot of things, and mostly your new record, The Alchemist, which is fantastic.
Thank you.
I was at the album release show just a few nights ago at the Blue Room in Nashville. Sold out house, packed. Everybody was there. Everybody was there. Everybody was looking good, even though it was the coldest day in Nashville and half of the people in the room probably didn't have power at home.
Yeah.
But we all showed out, and it was really a fantastic show. Just memorable. And I was like really impressed with a number of things, which I will make you uncomfortable by saying in front of you right now. The songs were just so crisp, and also you like weren't trying. It was like clear that you were like, these songs were a part of you. You know, you were just singing what you knew to sing. So there's something that's so, you can just kind of relax as an audience when you see a performer who's just like really embodying her songs. So there was that. The band was just cracking. I mean, amazing players. And then just like the spirit of joy in the room, that was really like, you steered that, but then it filled, I feel like everybody in the audience was like reflecting that back. And it was just a positive moment in Nashville. And thank you for being at the helm of that.
That just made my whole year, actually, because this month feels like a whole year already. Thank you. Oh,
well, that might be the highlight of this conversation. So I'm glad that we got it.
Yeah, we're going to get
I'm going
into
to try.
it.
I'm going to try to keep
No,
it up.
I really received that. I think I mentioned right when I first walked in here that January 2026 was just fun packed for me. All of 2025 I spent being a part-time caretaker for my grandmother and learning how to step into that space and be on the road. And I really was not home a lot last year while making my album. So it was like, just kind of felt like throwing paint at the wall everywhere. And it felt like the moment I stepped onto the stage at the album release show, that it was like, oh, I'm getting to see the fruit of all of that paint thrown. It's like I got to see the painting. Like I got to see the bigger picture. It was like my friend Jordan Weatherby created the Alchemist logo, which is the hands with the flowers holding it all.
Beautiful.
It was so beautiful. Like my friend put it on the wall at the Blue Room, and it was just like, that's all over the wall. He's there. My friends from Brook and the Bluff were there. My friend Kaneen from Lone Bellow was in the crowd. Like I just had no idea these people were coming. And it felt like I've just kept my head down all of 2025, just trying to do my best to show up and be as present as I can with my grandma and with this album and on tour. And when you don't really have anything else to do but just do it. Like there was no time for me to stop and think last year. It was just like, how do I show up for everything that's in front of me as best as I can? That's all I could do. So when I stepped out on stage, and I didn't know it was a sold out show until I stepped out on stage, and I was like, oh, That's awesome. That like, not only are like people smiling, you're right. It was so much joy in the room. And I also have to say like Abigail Rose and Joey Broadnox, who opened.
Fantastic talents.
Fantastic artists, and just like set the tone, really brought in the Americana folk revolution. It's like happening again, like brought that energy into the room. Nobody had power that week because it was the ice storm. I thought no one would be able to have the capacity to go out to a show, but it felt like it felt like old Nashville, but old Nashville meets new. We were just all there for each other in camaraderie. Everyone showed up for me in this record, and I felt that immediately. And I think I felt like I was being held by the community here. So I was able to just enjoy the record for once.
It must be really nice to be in the room and be sharing something that's so near and dear to you, and the result of months and years, literally, of work, and to feel like everybody's rooting for you, which is what I felt like that was the energy in the room. And that's not always the case. Sometimes
not always the case.
Sometimes it's a little bit arms folded out there in the dark, but that was not the case that night. And yeah, it was great to see. God, there's just so many ways that this conversation can go. And maybe I want to bring it back to the Alchemist in a second, but I also just maybe want to get at what started you off on this journey so many years ago. I feel like having done this podcast thing, we're like on 3 years now, and didn't really know what I was doing at the beginning. And you can make the argument that still holds. But I noticed that there's like this through line in talking to artists, and I see it in myself now more and more. It's like, what drives a person to want to stand up in front of people and share songs that they write themselves? And I guess I would put that question to you, and we can see where that goes.
That's a good, even you saying that, like, just made me like nervous.
Yeah, it's a nervous question. It makes me nervous.
Yeah. I mean, immediately when I thought, it was like, yeah, why do I put myself at the mercy of, like, anytime I get an opportunity? I remember last year when Stephen Wilson Jr., he's a dear friend of mine. I've known him for years, and he asked me to come out on tour with him, and it was just me and my acoustic guitar. And of course, there's just this big thing in me at all times of like, who would want to listen to me? You know, that like imposter syndrome of me as an artist that's always there. It's this part of myself that's like, who would want to listen? What do I have to say? But something that I think I got from my grandmother is just like, be 100% yourself, take up space, ask other people to take up space, encourage that, and share your story. You just never know who's going to resonate with it. And I've always just wanted to challenge myself to show up in the most uncomfortable of spaces, because magic always lies in those places. Like, without a doubt, it's like the leg day that you don't want to do will always benefit you. And so going on stage for me alone with a guitar has always made me nervous. I mean, always. Before every show, sure. I'm like, if you could see me backstage, I'm pacing. I'm like doing weird stretches. I'm like squatting, doing yoga poses. I'm just like constantly being like, no, we don't need to do this. This is really vulnerable. And then the minute they're like, okay, you're on, it's like, that is when I met with the divine. Something bigger than myself that isn't me and my ego. My ego trips over itself on the way onto the stage. You know, it's like, there's no room for my ego on stage. It's like you said, when you see an artist that is just egocentric, you're like, okay, I'm bored. The whole world is filled with ego.
When someone's showing off on stage, it is so obvious. You know, like, don't impress me.
Well,
like,
okay. And I will say that, like, for instance, Anthony DaCosta, one of my favorite guitar players of all time, he could show off but he doesn't even mean to. He is so naturally good at what he does, and he's the years and time put in show. And that's what you show when he's showing off, you know, but it's when people are just celebrating music or celebrating their story and humbled by their experience. Like, those are my favorite artists. Like, watching Leif Vollebeck on stage is like so magical. I watched him at Red Rocks opening for Gregory Alan Isaacoff, and it was just him. playing Moondog. It's like my favorite song of all time. And he's just like, hey, you guys, sorry, my guitar is, a little out of tune. It's a little high up here, Artists that show up and just are humbled by the experience, just open the door for everybody to be humbled by our experience. And I know when I walk in shows, sometimes I'm like this, and then there's just the magic that happens when you surrender to that. So to answer your question, long story short, like I started doing this to push myself outside of my comfort zone, if I'm honest with you, because I was writing for other artists for a while. I don't think I originally believed that I could be an artist when I was younger. I just wanted to help others craft their story. It's what I loved. I remember hearing Natalie Hemby talk about it, and Mark Beeson and Billy Steinberg I got to work with when I was younger, and I just was like, I love helping people craft their story. And then it just naturally started happening in 2019. I just started making music with my friends and telling my story, and that resonated. And I just thought, okay, this makes me nervous to keep sharing it, but something good happens every time I do. So I'm just going to keep doing that and see what happens.
Jared, can you cue up the this quote from Nelson Mandela about when you let your light shine, it gives other people permission to let their own lights shine? If you can text that to me, I can pull that up in a second. But that's what that reminds me of. And that's been something that's helped me move forward through my darker moments of self-doubt, which as a forest I haven't escaped from yet. Because you do have this like, who am I to do this? There's so many people already out there. Nobody needs to hear your song. And like, you don't need to wedge your thing into there. And it's like, well, I have a little light and I want to shine it. And I don't know why, but I will say that I love being around other people who let their lights shine.
Same.
And so, it makes me feel like I can do this too. It is wonderful to be alive. Maybe I have a thing I can put together and,
Yeah, I love that you said forest. I literally the other day had this voice memo of an idea of just like, I am a forest. Like I can go as deep as I want within me, or I can stay right here, but it never ends. And I think that it is so beautiful to be alive. Like I can get so emotional about that right now, because I was with my grandma for 5 days as she was losing her light on earth here. And it changed me in every sense of the word, because I saw this person who was so filled with light. My grandmother had the hardest background ever as a child, and no matter what, showed up with a smile, and not in a fake way, in a way that said like, I'm a scrappy kid and I have a story, but we don't need to talk about that right now. I'm going to make you laugh.
Can you tell me a little bit about her life?
Yeah, my grandmother grew up in a, I believe, 4-person home, and she was the oldest, and she had pretty abusive parents. And
she born and raised in Salt Lake?
She was born in Idaho, actually.
Where?
Idaho Falls.
I was born in Twin Falls.
No way.
That's where I grew up. That's why I went
crazy.
to the lagoon all the time.
So I have like family in Blackfoot. And that's the part of my family.
My parts.
Yeah. Yeah, mine too.
Sorry to interrupt. Yes,
no,
okay.
that's amazing. I'm still learning
was she
so
LDS?
much. No. So she grew up in Idaho. She was taken away from her family because of the abuse, and she ended up in a foster care system. And then once she became of age, she adopted her younger siblings and just truly stepped into the parental role. Yeah, it was just so much abuse and neglect, and you would never know. My grandma went on to moved from Idaho to Utah, was married, got a divorce, and said, I'm going to buy my own home, and came from nothing. She would literally sell chickens in Idaho, like growing up. Like that's like what she knew. She moved to Utah. She started working at a place called O.C. Tanner, working in metals and jewelry. Worked her way up, was like the most beloved woman, lived in her neighborhood for 30 years. I mean, the neighbors loved my grandma. And she bought her own home. And even though she had a partner, Mark, for 32 years, she never remarried. And she said, this is my place of peace. She covered her home in wildflowers. and Roses and Rose of Sharon. And she just always was like, I worked really hard for this. I want people to come over. I want them to share it. But this is my little carved out place of peace. And I say all this to say, she always told me, protect your light, because it can be your biggest superpower or it can be your biggest kryptonite. And I really, through making The Alchemist, arrived at the understanding of that, of how to be intentional with my joy, like following joy in an industry that is the Wild West forever. And just knowing like, I love music. I love songs. I love people. I love seeing people break a smile when they came in after like a really hard, maybe subway ride or long day of work. That's what I know I'm here for. And if I had to make one last record, like what would my manifesto be? It would just be to offer a little bit of light and a little camaraderie to people.
That reminds me that in listening to the record and in watching the show, I thought, these aren't like breakup songs, and they're not exactly love songs in the romantic sense. These are songs of self-healing and like love letters to your own soul. Would you feel like that's an accurate characterization?
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful way to put it. I'm going to steal that. Thank you very much.
It's yours.
Yeah, I think Idiot on the record is a song that I wrote. I took a George W. Bush quote, and it was just about feeling like a lovable idiot, and the person that you loved feeling like they're the same way, about not putting somebody on a pedestal. But that's probably the closest I have gotten to a breakup song or love song, because mostly, like, I love helping other people write songs for the records, love songs, but for my stuff, I write music for like future me and also for past me. And it's a space for me to have grace for myself in a way that I don't normally offer myself in the real world. So songs like that, I'm mostly saying, don't put anybody on a pedestal, even yourself, but always choose yourself. And the rest of the record is all about my ahas in the valley lows of my life, and how I learned how to just follow. Yeah, I keep coming back to the word joy, but like following my joy and choosing myself and understanding myself, and just knowing that it's all just interesting. Like all of this is just interesting. It's like I tell my little sister, life isn't happening to you. It's just happening. And our one choice, or our one freedom, is our choice. Our one freedom is our personal choice in how we choose to show up, and how we choose to see things, and how we choose to report about them. And we're very fortunate that we have this craft and this hobby that we love of songwriting or writing, where we get to use words to articulate how we feel within our story. And we have the pen in our hand. And I just want to encourage people that, like, you are the alchemist of your own life. You do have the pen in your own hand. And like, that might have happened to you. You might have had really, really rough card deck. That sucked that person did that to you, or that sucked that didn't work out that way that you wanted it to. Now what? Now what? And I'm very grateful that I have a career in getting to use words to talk about that. And so I think that's what keeps me on stage doing it. Is
there a moment that comes to mind where you found yourself in that moment of, God damn, I don't know if I can get through this, or, how, just what you've described, I immediately think of, it's easier for me to think of other people and their moments of, beckoning despair. But I don't know. It would just be interesting to hear if there's one that comes to mind. If not, that is okay.
Totally. Absolutely. I feel like a lot of times I interact with songwriters or friends or peers or people that just come up to me after a show. They're like, gosh, you're so happy all the time. Or like, you're so lucky. And I do feel very lucky. That is for sure. And I do feel my baseline. I've worked really hard to be pretty happy, but I have heavy, dark, sometimes they feel impossible days. Inevitably, we're human beings. We're just like a part of a moving thing that hurts us sometimes. Specifically, what I think about is right before I started writing The Alchemist, I was going to quit music entirely. And it was hurting my heart. And I felt like I'd put so much into it, and I just was hitting these blocks, or things weren't working out, or I just thought, okay, maybe music doesn't want me anymore. And I remember I walked out to my kitchen, and my best friend was like, "What are you so angry at?" And I was like, "Nothing," and she was like, "Go on, cancel your day. We're going to go to the park, and you're going to tell me what you're so angry at." And I was like, why does she keep saying that? We go to the park. I clear my schedule. And I realized that there was this part of me that was so angry that I felt like I failed. I don't even know what I felt like I failed. It's just like a laundry list. And she said, okay, if you had to make one more record, what would it be? And it's exactly what The Alchemist is, just offering a little light. But before that, the girl had to take me to the aquarium so that I could see fishes, just to like have a little bit of grace for myself before I decided that, because I really was about to just pivot, which is totally okay too. But I just felt like, what is the point in music and like aspiring for anything when everybody's taking our rights away as songwriters and voices, and it's scary out there. But I thought, I can't control any of that. So I just have to get up and do the only thing that I know how to do. And that's just tell my story through song.
Mm-hmm. Beautifully put. And it occurs to me that one of the things that I come back to again and again in my work here with the podcast, but in general, I think this has always been kind of true. But is this, the music business is fine. It's brutal, and it's fun to see big shows on stages under lights and be part of that world. And I've, had times with my light and enjoyed those blessings, but I really am more interested in the creative act as a therapeutic, as an act of therapy. I wouldn't even put it like that exactly, but just, I've always been interested in playing guitar and writing songs and listening to songs and the actual thing of doing it. And I think that one of the things that I'm trying to put out there in the world is to encourage people to have their own relationship with any kind of fancy that moves them. You know what I mean? And that you don't have to be the best person in the world. You're not a success or a failure if you packed out the Basement East, or all of these metrics that we just really fall into so quickly and that are ever moving. As soon as you pack out the OG basement, well, now you got to pack out the Basement East.
Oh my gosh.
As soon as you pack out the Basement East, now you got to pack out the Ryman. Now you got the Ryman, now you got to do the Bridgestone. It never ends.
I couldn't relate with this more. I think I said this at the Blue Room. When I put out my first EP in 2019, I made a record with my friends. Everyone you saw on stage. I just made a record with my friends. It was so fun. And I went to Tennessee Brewworks. I was working at Tennessee Brewworks, and I got a message that said Happy New Music Friday. And I was like, oh, it is Friday. I didn't think anything of it. Went home. It was like number 10 on New Music Friday, which at the time was like hitting the lottery. I mean, it still is, but it was just like, what? How did that happen? I was opening for Sheryl Crow a few weeks later. It was like this whirlwind of like the red carpet rollout from the industry. And it was a beautiful time, but I couldn't keep up with it because I didn't know what I wanted yet. And not even on a musical or success scale. I didn't know what I wanted out of my life yet. I didn't know my why. So it didn't matter how many accolades. Yeah, you have to sell this room out, then this room out, then this room out. And it's still happening now. Okay, the next thing. By the time we know it, we don't have any more time to do the next thing. What really mattered? And I think my biggest success and accolade of my life I got from building a relationship and having the bravery to sit across the table from my mother, who I didn't grow up with, for the first time and talk to her about her struggle with addiction and how she's just trying her best and realizing that I'm no different. We're no different from each other. one of the biggest successes of my life. I mean, it gave full context to who I am, how I show up in the world. It's also allowed me a deep amount of grace with myself and her and everybody. Mm-hmm. And then getting to spend time with my grandma last year. Like just learning about my why, which is like, I want to be as present as I can in this world, love what I do. And when stressful things come up, like maybe we didn't get that gig. Maybe this year didn't have a good year.
Disappointments are inevitable. They're coming.
Who was I at in the valley low of my life?
Yeah.
That is who I'm becoming. That's who I become. It's not when I hit that big accolade. It's like,
it's easy to be you when you're the accolade.
Totally. Everyone's looking at you. There's perfect Dewey. Everyone's doing your makeup, whatever. But who are you really in the valley low? Who do you choose to be in those moments? And like, that was the biggest success and gift of my life, was learning that. Truly. I'm
going to ask you some questions, and we don't have to do this. And also the podcast is such that I can just, this Jared will zip all of this out and nobody will be the wiser. But I'd love to know a little bit more about that. Well, first of all, when you had that moment of reconciliation with your mom, was that something that came naturally? Was that something that did you have some tools that you brought? Was that a long experience or a short experience? I mean, such a basic thing that so many people have, even if it's not cataclysmic estrangement from their family, they have little gaps.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And all of those things are really sore.
Yeah.
Secret sore spots in people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I'm just curious about your own journey there.
Absolutely. I feel very good about talking about this now. I feel like it was truly a calling, like just a capital K knowing of like, that's a door I need to walk through in my life before I have a daughter. And it started truly, I always say that like, I hope my song with Lori, Before I Have a Daughter, pays for the therapy session she gave me. Because when we wrote the song, it was because she asked if I had kids, where I was from, And I said, before I have a daughter, I want to learn how to do my taxes. Like I made a joke. And she was like, like called me out like, why did you say before I have a daughter? And it led to this conversation. And this was in, 2020, 2019. And it was a conversation where I said, I think before I have a daughter, I need to sit down with my mom. And my mother struggled with addiction my whole life. And my dad moved us away when I was about 13 years old. But my mom was really not in my life from about 8 to 6 years ago. So the majority of my adult life was just this story that I heard that my mother was struggling with addiction. And, that was kind of it. And of course, as I got older, I got curious about who I am, what kind of woman I want to be, what kind of mother I would be. And that song with Lori really sparked something in me that I couldn't push away. It was like that question of like, well, where is your mother? And like, what was she like? And before you have a daughter, why do you want to sit with your mother? That was a natural chain reaction to me reaching out to my grandmother. Found out that my mother was living with my grandmother. She had been on her clean and sober journey for like 10 years. She was helping her tend to her garden. They were healing their relationship. It just seemed all the perfect time for me to open that door. And so I started going to Utah a lot and staying with my grandma and talking to my mom and learning.
What was that first time when you went to go see your mom for the first time? Were you nervous as hell?
Yeah. I was also like, I feel like very guarded because that was a protective part of myself.
Yeah, of course.
Years of layers of just like.
You made a life without her. You learned how to be.
I feel like I'm still, I find moments with her where I'm like, oh, okay, I can peel that away. But there's still layers. I was very nervous. And she was just so eager to show up for all those lost years. And it made me kind of push away and learning about that. And just, it's just been this whirlwind of learning about myself. And I feel like now I can look at this woman who is still on her journey with that, and like where she's at and what she wants out of her life now that her mother, my grandmother, has passed away. Just looking at her and being like, oh, she's just navigating life with her own vices and coping mechanisms that came from my great, you know. We're really no different. She loves the chicks. She loves Natalie Merchant, like loves Natalie Merchant. And like my Jealous of Birds EP is literally, I don't know how I didn't even notice, is so similar to Natalie Merchant's. I didn't even realize that until my mom pointed it out. And she loves Coca-Colas. She smokes a pack of cigarettes, and she's just trying to figure her life out. She hugs trees. She squeaks when she laughs. We're so similar. Aside from the smoking cigarettes, I can't get down with it. But I just am in awe of like how easy it would be for me to judge her or keep that guard up about her and go on with my life with that. How much I would have lost if I would have just been like, yeah, I'm going to turn the other way and just judge this person. Like I've gained so much by opening my heart and opening that door. A lot of pain and a lot of hurt, but stuff that I was able to sift through. And on the other side was just this friendship with my mom. When I wrote The Alchemist, Melissa Fuller and I sat down on my couch and we wrote, my mother cried when she opened her eyes. She was born in a fire, so she lived in the rain. And so I got a sky that was ripped open wide, and it poured like a river that washed me away. And that was something I had in my notes. And I was like, cool, that's going to be about my mother and the story of why I've chose to have a career in choosing light. Like that was what it was supposed to be. Okay. This is why I am the way I am. And then it goes into the chorus and it's like, so I light a candle, I carry the flame. I find a little faith when all that's left to make is friends with the girl who's just doing her best. Here's to the alchemist. And I thought I was talking about me. And Melissa goes, oh, what a beautiful thing that you're just having grace for your mom, making friends with a girl who's just doing her best. Here's to the alchemist. And I was like, my mom is also just doing her best. She's also the alchemist of her own life. Like we are all just taking what we got. It looks different for everyone. And we're just making do and trying to make something beautiful out of it. And I am damn proud of my mom for everything she's been through. She really showed up for her mom at the end of her life. And it was a gift to watch.
Well, that's fairly tender.
Yeah. So anyway,
God.
the Super Bowl was crazy.
Maybe on a lighter note, did you bring your guitar and would you mind playing a song?
Absolutely.
I think I know what you're going to play, but maybe you want to, and you kind of did set this up, but maybe just tee it up for us just a little bit more before we get rolling.
Well, you have a beautiful daughter, 14 month-year-old?
14 months.
Yeah, 14 months. Wow. And when I saw her, I was like, I have to play this song because this isn't on The Alchemist currently, but I am going to be putting out a deluxe version of the record because there are songs that I still want on the record to tell more of the Alchemist story. I wrote this song with Lori McKenna, who's one of my favorite songsmiths. Superhero. And she encouraged a song out of me that changed my life. Truly, the power of a song allowed me to dive into that space with my own mother before I have a daughter. So I want to play that today.
Let's hear it.
This one's for you. She's in key.
Before I have a daughter, I wanna build myself a garden, the kind I have to water on the good days and the bad ones too. Then I'll try to call it and realize it's not for me. And the takeaway heart will break the time it takes to make lemonade of my family tree. Then I'll go make mistakes and find a way to find some dumb word. Then I'll stop believing that life is a merry-go-round holding me down, until I start to see that the spider's only building me up. Look at me now, I'm making peace, making up for all that I lost out, learning how to see myself in my mother's eyes. Before I have a daughter, I've always been a driver, guided by my fear and ability to dream. I step a North Star fighter, and I'm terrified that one day she'll get that for me. I have to watch her go, make mistakes the way I did when I was like she was. And I started believing life is a merry-go-round holding me down, until I start to see that the spider's only building me up. Look at me now, I'm making peace, making up for all that I lost out, learning how to see myself in my father's eyes. Before I have a daughter, and I'm going up. I'm making mistakes, breaking the chains before I break any more hearts. Fathers, be good to your daughters, daughters who love like you do. And girls become lovers, who turn into mothers. So mothers, be good to your daughters too. Before I have a daughter, I wanna build myself a garden, the kind I have to water on the good days and the bad ones too.
Well, that was beautiful, and my apologies for Zuzu chirping in
No,
there on the front end.
that was perfect. It was literally your lady just holding her, and she's like, every note that I played, I would look up, and she was like, it was so sweet.
Yeah, she's got
She's gonna play
the
the
Arsenio
guitar.
move.
Yeah,
she's
she was
really
like,
into it. It's pretty sweet. No, it's great. It was really beautiful performance, and it reminds me of what I realized watching you play live. This is so dumb. I must have lived under a rock, but that was the first time I've seen you play. It was at the Blue Room show.
No way.
Yeah. I'm embarrassed.
I'm happy that's the show you saw.
It was a good one to see. But you're a really good guitar player, and you know you're this is to me what I always look for in people. I was about to say like anyone can write a song. That's not quite true. It's very difficult to write a song, but it's really a whole other thing to write a song, to sing it like with a genuine singing voice, and then to pull it all together with like a relationship with your instrument. And you do all three of those things so well.
Thanks, man.
That means
a lot.
It's so great. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. It's like you're a musical being. You're not a singer-songwriter. You know, it's a click better.
I really appreciate that and receive that. I definitely never thought of myself as like a singer, or a guitar player. I think I told you, like, my rebellion for my dad wanting me to like shred when I was younger was listening to Dave Matthews and wanting to pick up an acoustic guitar. But I think
that showed him.
Yeah. But I think that like just enough opening shows, you know, like I said, opening for Steven Wilson and just being up there with my guitar, I was just like, okay, I'm all I got. So how do I get this room of, you know, 300 to 500 people to maybe hear me past all the beer clinking and the loud room? And I just learned how to play like that. So the fact that you think I'm a good guitar player is very,
I mean,
very
take a
cool
grain
to
of salt.
hear.
It's just me saying it, but I, you know.
No, I'm going to take that to my grave. Thank you.
Well, it was beautiful. Thank you. And really quickly, I read in an old interview that, you know, some of your heroes, and this is maybe a record or an EP ago, but you cited Brandi Carlile as a big influence.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to riff on her voice for a second because you said something about it. I'm like, yeah, the story.
Oh,
that moment in the story after it breaks down and it comes back in, she does that
feel
thing
it right
with her
now.
voice.
When I worked at one of my first jobs was Starbucks, and I would wake up at like 4 a.m. and their Pandora was broken, and it would play the story like 3 times in a row, and then it would like go back to it. And I kid you not, that is why I wanted to do what I do. Like I grew up listening to like Lauryn Hill, Aretha Franklin.
Obviously, totally.
Like, I mean, but truly, but that was like, it was like, those were some of my first records.
No, Miseducation is like fucking timeless record. I mean, come on.
I was like, oh, you can just emote your feelings out of your face like that. And like, oh, I want to do that. And then it was like Stevie Nicks, Bonnie Raitt, of course, and Emmylou Harris. And all of those are true. But I was like getting out of high school and into my early 20s and hearing Brandi just changed something in me, and I thought I want to learn how to do that. And she is truly like, I've never met her, still haven't yet, but if I do get to meet her, I'm just gonna tell her like, thank you for being so brave enough to just share yourself fully, because it inspired me to share mine like 100%. That Bear Creek record, oh, so good.
This is a perfect segue from a return to an earlier part of the conversation.
Full circle.
With that Nelson Mandela quote, because she did that for you. And what he said was, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. And God, that's just so true. It's just like, it's such an act of bravery to let your light shine. And I think that's, there's very few causes more noble than that. It sets other people free. You know, it elevates everything. Like when I put down, like, what am I on earth to do? What am I trying to do here? And this is like hard for me to even say out loud, because like, how dare I think that I might be able to? But I just want to inspire people. That's it. I just want to inspire people. I'm where I'm at right now, because of all of the people that have inspired me, you know, and it's like a way of, it's not even just giving back. It's just like honoring what I was shown. It's like, well, that is so wonderful. Maybe I could be wonderful too. I mean, just the daring to try to be wonderful is something.
But I'll take it even one step further. What if you already are wonderful, and then you just learn
this is my therapy session now. Fuck.
But just hot take. What if you're already there? What if you're already completely enough, just the way you are, and you just decide one day to talk about that? Not saying that there's not room to grow, to be better, but like my friend Tabitha Turner, who did all the content for my record, one day when I was like, but I need to be this and this, she said, what if you just already have arrived? What if there's nowhere that you need to arrive at? What if we're just already there, and then you're just brave enough to talk about it and report about it? Because rarely am I super inspired by like the big thing. I'm usually inspired by someone's intention with sharing like maybe a small thing that happened that really changed them. That's usually what I'm really inspired by. Like, I love shows like Ted Lasso, just like something that's seemingly mundane, but it's just like everything. That's what I live for. You don't have to be the greatest this or the greatest that or the biggest that or it's just like, are you showing up and offering a little bit of light and love to the world around you? I like you. You're my people. I want to talk to you. Cause like you said this when I walked in, It's just not that serious. None of this is that serious. You ever just look at a bird in the trees and you're just like, he's just being a bird. He doesn't think about what kind of bird he needs to be. He's just being a bird. It's like life is such a gift. It's such a gift. And I know some days it doesn't feel like that. But that's our own war that we have to work through. But on the other side of that cloud that we're feeling is blue skies. The world is just worlding. We just get to be in it and witness it and have fun and make friends and learn and be humbled. And then there are cherries on top, and that's rad. But like, I feel like you are wonderful and you are offering that by doing this and like shining light on other people. And like, that's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, my turn's coming, so y'all wait up. Well, and also too, just when you say that, I want to say too that life is so short. It's just such a breath, and this is it, guys. We're here, I really, something I learned along the way, in my advanced years, was that when I was younger, I had like these kind of metrics that I wanted to hit, rooms I wanted to play or stages I wanted to play, or artists I wanted to collab with. And I was just like working. And at some point I just realized that, particularly when it came to touring, which I really have always loved and love playing live shows, that the guys that I saw that were playing bigger rooms, they were doing the exact same thing I was doing, just like the rooms were bigger and maybe the cars were longer, but it was still, the load-in times were roughly the same. The grind was the same. The miles were the same. And that was kind of an important shift where I was like, oh, I think my values are changing now. And I really want to make each day resemble as closely as possible my ideal day. And, that's part of what started this. I hardly ever leave my house these days because I see my daughter lots, and you wonderful people come in and talk to me and inspire me. And I'm writing songs. I'm working on this novel, getting this show going. I have a very full life, and it's a little too much, to be honest. Like, my wife is like I said, a force of nature and difficult to keep up with. And I think I give her a run for her money. But like, our every day is such a crazy adventure, and it's our own thing and my own thing, her own thing. And that's been really important. Like, I couldn't say that in all truth without letting go of some past conception of what success looked like to me, Yeah. And that was painful to do. It was scary because my identity was really wrapped up in that. Well, who am I if I don't have 20 dates on my website? Like, what will people think? Or, or something. You're like, who am I anybody anymymore? And like, it's fun. It's been fine. I'm happy to report to all of you who've let go of something.
You're still here.
I'm on the other side of it. It's great. It's even better. Yeah. Don't even worry about it. The shows will come back.
And you're not as heavy weighed down by the weight of should haves, could haves, and would haves.
I mean, we all still have our stuff, but you get used to it a little bit more of that letting go and that uncertainty, or that like quote unquote missing, or that pivoting. And you're just like, it's fine. It's fine to pivot. Keep pivoting.
Pivot all the time.
Yeah.
Every day.
Pivot. It's a dance. It's a pirouette.
I have a song from my album Note to Self called Pivot in Place. It's a deep cut. It's a hot take, but I always say, like, that's what's interesting about life, is that we can just decide to pivot one day. I don't need, music is beautiful. I love it. But some days I'm like, I want to arrange flowers. And some days I'm like, I just want to sit with my dog and sunbathe. And some days I'm like, I want to write a book. I'm dyslexic. I'm going to figure out how to write a book. It's just all interesting.
It's all interesting. Well, what's happening next? You got a lot going on right now, and anything you want to share? This is going to air in uncharacteristic fashion in 2 days.
Oh, amazing.
So yeah, it's very fresh, this conversation.
Okay. In 2 days. Okay. So I think I can say that I get to go on a headlining tour in March, April, and May. And I'm going to be doing West Coast edition because I just have not gotten to the West Coast enough on my own. I got to tour last year with an artist named Kyola I really love, and realized that people were coming out to the shows also to see me. So I'm going to be doing West Coast shows in March and April. and doing an East Coast run as well. So taking the Alchemist songs on the road, which is going to be so fun.
Full band, solo?
Solo.
Fantastic.
There's nothing
My
more
favorite.
humbling. Yeah, me too. I just saw one of my favorite new artists. His name's Ken Yates, and he has just been...
I love Ken Yates.
Really?
Oh my God, that new record.
Oh my God, the record's so good. Okay, then can you tell Ken, if you know Ken, that I want to play a show with Ken Yates. I love his point of view. I love his songwriting, but he just goes up with his guitar. My friend Cece just posted a video of him in London, and I was like, yeah, because I was afraid. I was like, do I need to bring a band out? Of course, a band would be amazing, but it's impossible to tour right now as an independent artist in general. So just trying to like do it on a budget, be as authentic as I can. And when I saw Ken Yates performing on his own, I was like, yeah, like you said, like I don't need to be anything other than myself. And I'm going to have a conversation with people on my headlining tour and just see where it goes.
I'm so excited for you, Bre.
Thank you.
You're going to have a great year.
Thank
the record
you.
is fantastic. And this conversation has been fantastic. So thank you.
Thank you.
The Morse Code Podcast is produced by Korby Lenker and Jared Hammond in East Nashville, Tennessee. Our executive producer is Randa Newman. You can find full videos for this and all previous episodes at morsecodepodcast.com.